What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. Man Fuad Bad certainly knows how to pick the right talent. And this new athlete that just signed with Hostile Supplements, that is one big news. Since Martin was searching for a good sponsor for quite some time now. And he finally got one. So Martin, as we all know, is about to make his Olympia debut. And it's really rare to see a guy who is so young and he's still being talked about as the guy who can potentially challenge the top guys at the Olympia level. I mean, he's coming up in every single discussion when the Olympia top 7 are discussed for this year. And the reason behind all this hype is the fact that he was able to push the mutant Nick Walker to his absolute limits at this year's New York Pro. I mean, yes, Nick Walker won that show, but just by 1 point. So the man just loves bodybuilding more than anything. And the progress that Martin has been able to make from 2022 to 2024, that was so damn insane. The year that he took off, that really paid off big time. And now he is at a point in his career where he doesn't have to take another year off because he already has good enough mass and he can just make progress from one show to the next. So when we saw him doing that guest posing about 8 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia, some people thought that he was a bit behind. But man of the fact is he looks more shredded and also more confident than ever before. More confident than he was going into the New York Pro. So Samson Dauda has stayed with Hostile Supplements for a long time now. And that partnership has also worked wonderfully. So this will be a great fit for Martin Fitzwater as well. Now let's take a look at some physique updates. First of all, from the Egyptian tank, Hassan Mustafa. So he's just trying to stay at 300 pounds mark because this is a guy who doesn't need any more size to win the shows and make it to the Olympia stage. So both the shows that Hassan Mustafa did this year, Toronto Pro and Chicago Pro, I have to say if he was in shape, if he was in condition, he would have been fighting for the top spot, and I'm sure he would have qualified for the Olympia this year. But Hassan's run in 2024, that was as bad as it was back in 2021, when he did a total of 5 or 6 total shows, and he qualified for the Olympia on points. So Hassan Mustafa and Robin Strand, they have been training together for most part of the year, especially ever since both of them ended their contest season for 2024. So why Hassan Mustafa chose to switch coaches this year, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think Chad Nichols figured out his body pretty damn well, and he was able to present a very decent combination of sharpness as well as size. He was extremely impressive at the Olympia last year, and even with a tricep tier, he was able to present a very good package. And also his look at Toronto Pro 2023, I showed that he lost to Iain Valer. That was extremely impressive, and so was his package at Van Pro 2023, that showed that he won. And he was able to place his career's best, 11th at the Olympia last year. So Hassan is going to be back on the stage sometime next year, hopefully in a far better condition than what we saw in 2024. Next up we have the current physique update of a retired IFB pro, Iain Valer. So according to Iain, he isn't even running TRT at the moment. And that is a whole lot of muscle to maintain for a natural lifter. And he is quite lean as well. So is there a possibility of him making a comeback? I'm gonna say not even slightly. Iain got 6 IFB pro wins, a 2nd place at the Arnold, and he was pretty satisfied with his retirement decision. I mean, he was qualified for the Olympia last year, and he chose not to do it. And that pretty much shows us how at peace he was with that decision. And if we are being 100% real and truthful with the current lineup, especially at the Olympia level, Iain Valer had 0 chance of beating his best placing at the Olympia level from the past. And that was top 7 back at the Olympia 2021. So out of all the shows that Iain did in his entire pro career, in my opinion his best ever, that was Texas Pro 2021, where he was able to beat Steve Kuklo and Phil Klahar. And both these guys were absolutely on their A games as well. But Iain was so undeniable at that show. So it is kinda too bad that he was never able to duplicate that same condition later during his career. But still he is the best men's open bodybuilder from Canada, because nobody has won 6 pro shows and plays so high at the Arnold and also so high at the Olympia level. Next up is the 1 week out physique update of Mohammad Nsour. So the man isn't done just yet. So we just saw him this past weekend at UK Pro. And he is going to be challenging Andrea Presti in the upcoming show which is happening in France. So this is a former Olympian we are talking about. And Mohammad Nsour and his coach, Chris Asito, they nailed their peak to absolute perfection at this past UK Pro. Now he wasn't the guy with the most amount of muscle on his frame, but he was certainly one of the most shredded guy out there, along with Louis Breed. So Mohammad has very good aesthetics, but more importantly, his strength is that grainy condition and the level of strength that he's able to attain for all these shows. So France Pro and the Legion Sports, they have weird timing, as both of these shows are happening on the same weekend. And keep in mind, they are both Olympia qualifiers for 2025. So that is a great opportunity for all of these guys to win a show at the earliest possible stage and have an entire season focused on just one show, the Olympia. So in Mohammad's case, he definitely would like to add some more size in areas like hamstrings and abductors, and also get his back overall more thicker. So he was 4th in UK, and he was expecting to place higher. So Andrea Presti is gonna enter this show as the hot favorite to win this, and also the Olympia qualification for next year. Because the decision at UK Pro this past weekend, that was kind of a controversial one. But do not count out Mohammad Nsour as well. Next up is the off-season physique update from James Hollinghead. So James is on a mission for this off-season to make a very strong comeback and a very strong statement in 2025 whenever he decides to return to the stage in 2025 and have a go at that Olympia qualification. So James was among those guys who did not compete in the entire 2023 season, and the aim was to get bigger as well as better in all the white areas, and up to a point where he can contest for a top 10 finish at the Olympia level. But that just did not work out for James, and for a number of reasons. First of all, he was struggling with a knee injury throughout the Arnold prep. He could not train his quads the way he wanted to. And secondly, him and Milos, they just did not connect that well. Now that off-season of James, that went perfectly with Milos, but James and him parted ways just weeks out of the Arnold this year. And James did the peak all by himself. And actually he did a pretty decent job. I mean top 5 at the Arnold in a highly competitive lineup. That was really impressive. So he's now working with Stefan, and James has been making some good progress. His weight is over 300 pounds, and that is a very decent body composition for 300 pounds. So two things that James desperately needs. They are more rounder and 3D looking shoulders, and deeper, more separated abs. What makes this 3 weeks out physique update of Matt Brao so damn impressive is that he was initially a men's physique competitor. So those brutal workouts with the winning Miss Olympia Derek Lunsford, they definitely paid off big time. And it isn't just Matt getting motivation from Derek. Derek himself has spoken about Matt's dedication multiple times. And I have to say that is really showing in his physique at 3 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia. So last year, when Matt competed at the Classic Physique Miss Olympia, he was roughly 10 pounds away from his weight cap. And it's safe to say that he has maxed out this year. So if Chris Aceto keeps on feeding him whatever he is feeding him right now, the next division for Matt, that is obviously gonna be men's open bodybuilding. But as of right now, they are 100% focused on cracking top 10 in Classic Physique this year. So hopefully Matt has been able to make some good progress, especially in his back as well, since he is training with the guy who has literally the best back in the world right now. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.